Hello, it's Sinhadakini here. I just wanted to come on and say hello. Hope you're all well. Missing you, missing seeing all the friends and mitras at the Norwich Buddhist Centre. I'm well. It's day 11, I think, of lockdown, and who would have thought that only 12 days ago it was normal to be thronged in shops and getting onto packed trains, and here we all are adapting to the new normal. And I miss going into the Buddhist Centre on Fridays very much, but I think I think that we've realised that our community didn't just exist at number 14 Bank Street and is now a virtual community. And I want to say thank you to Vajragupta and the team at the Norwich Buddhist Centre for enabling that and getting us all Zoomed. I've led my first class on Zoom, and I had my hand held for that by Amanda, and that was really helpful, so thank you for that. The mind isn't, we're bodily, we're locked down, but the mind isn't locked down. That thought came to me quite strongly just now, because I had a little sleep before I came on here, and I don't usually have very vivid dreams, but I had very vivid dreams. One of them was that I was going up Everest. I was going to the top of Everest on a bus with a dog, as you do, and I was going to be walking down, and I knew that I could do it because I'd done it before. Minds are a mysterious thing, and I think it's important at these difficult times to be well resourced and in the best possible state of mind that we can be. And that's what I want to talk about today. 3 ways of generating positive emotion. So one of the basic things that we're trying to do in Buddhism is to dwell in a stream of positive mental states, such as compassion, equanimity, friendliness, contentment, appreciation. And there are many different ways that we can do this. And this is part of, this connects with the very basic teaching of the 4 right efforts that we're told that we need to practice. And these are that of stopping non-arisen negative mental states. That's first one. Second one is eradicating negative mental states when they do arise, which we do through basic mindfulness. Third one is to generate positive unarisen mental states, and the fourth one is to maintain positive mental states. So it's often said that what we dwell upon, that becomes the direction of our mind. So what we dwell upon is what we actually become. And so we're guarding our mind, and we are trying to dwell in the positive and create new positive habits and neurological pathways. And we need to keep doing this because it takes a long time, repetition to create new pathways. And we are seeing many positive things at the moment that we can think about. The clapping has been wonderful, hasn't it? The dedication of the the NHS staff, the volunteering, the singing from balconies and playing from balconies, where we see human beings at their very best. That's so important for us at the moment. So let's try and dwell in these positive things that have so warmed our hearts. Perhaps a very basic thing that we can do is to practice generosity, and that's what we're doing at the moment. And I've seen many little acts of generosity at the moment. I'm sure you have too. Generosity is a positive mental state, and that's not just for the recipient. It's also for the giver. It feels great to give. It's not so much the amount that you give, but it's the wanting to give and the wanting to share that's important. Generosity is the basic human act in Buddhism. It's something that we can all do. And there are many things that we can give. There are lists in Buddhism which are that we can give. We can give material things. We can share what we have. We can give time and thought and energy. We can give knowledge. We can also give fearlessness. And Buddhism attaches great importance to giving fearlessness, and that seems to me to be quite important at the moment, to give reassurance and confidence, and maybe not to engage in too much catastrophizing, because this just spreads fear and anxiety. So Sangharakshita, in his talk on, I think it was Perfect Speech, talked about not being a dismal Jimmy. I think this was an expression from the Second World War that that they needed to stay positive, so that they were saying that don't be a dismal Jimmy. Other forms of giving are the giving of life and limb, and the most important thing that you can give is the gift of the Dharma. So I've witnessed many people giving their time and their thoughts to others, and in your household giving small acts of kindness. And it might be important as we're many people are they are just together in a small space, to try to think outside the box and see things from other people's point of view, which is hard to do. And talking to myself as much as to you now, that it is hard to do, particularly if someone else is what someone else is doing or saying is coming from a place which is very different from our own. But maybe we can just drop our point of view, and even drop the effects that somebody else's point of view is having on us. You just drop it. And it's true we can all be generous, even if we're locked down. I've noticed that people, I'm thinking of one person in particular who is on their own and doing lots of kind things, or being really solicitous about the well-being of her friends and expressing affection to them. It's very important to express affection at any time, really, but particularly perhaps at the moment when we're a bit up against it. And that's had a sort of effect of other people in her community really being touched in their hearts and expressing their own appreciation. And then another friend of mine online has been very worried about a farm dog that lives next door and has been injured, and has mounted a campaign. I've been asked to contribute to this dog's vet's bill, and it's been really lovely to be able to support my friend, because I know she really does care about this. and to see the dog, to see her caring for this dog, and sending videos about it, like, and really wanting to know what's happening to the dog, and so happy to see it being cared about. Yeah, so also just a thought here for the Norwich Buddhist Centre that we've lost a big part of our income. So yeah, do remember to donate when you can. And I know things are very precarious for a lot of people financially, but maybe you could give a standing order. Maybe you've been on the brink of doing it. It feels really good. It feels a really good thing to do. And in actual fact, it is very helpful to the Buddhist Centre, because probably more than other ways of giving, because it means that we know what's coming in, and so we can make plans for the future, which is very important at the moment. So yeah, just a little reminder about that. Yeah, trying hard not to take more than our share in supermarkets. Yeah, an act of generosity we've seen can go viral, and really encourage people all around the world. So let's all, we're all doing our bit, aren't we? I'm sure we are. But let's see if we can take that even further. The second thing I want to talk about is about staying in the present moment. This is basic mindfulness. It's a way to move from anxiety. And we do this by coming into our body. And I wanted to give a little demonstration of this now and do a 3-minute mindfulness, which you can do anywhere, anytime. If you're waiting outside the supermarket in a well-distanced queue, or if you're, I don't know, on your walk, you can be doing it now. So let's just take our attention into our body, into the sensations of our body, and feel our feet on the ground, and feel the contact with the earth, and appreciate the earth for a moment, and come into connection with our breathing. I often feel it's quite good you could put your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. That sort of contact feels, it sort of brings us home to ourself, particularly having our hand on our heart. And we can take a look around us as what we can see. I can see my tanka, which is of Padmasambhava in his rainbow body form. So maybe we can see the sky, or the sunshine, or the light. I think when we can really look at things, when we really look, a sense of beauty can emerge. And we can let ourselves smile. We can let ourselves smile at that. So a little pause like this is good to do as many times as we can throughout the day. And when we're in the present moment like this, we might notice that we're not anxious, that it's even hard to remember what we were anxious about, and that actually things are okay. Right now, things are okay. We've got our feet on the ground, we're breathing, and we're okay. And we've created a little space from which we can take the creative next step, which might be dwelling in the positive. And when we've just done this practice, we might also have noticed that there are things that we feel grateful for. And gratitude is the third thing that I'd like to talk about today. I'm aware that years ago I really doubted whether you could develop gratitude. People used to talk about gratitude and the importance of gratitude. This is going back some years, maybe even to the time that I was first ordained. I felt like this, that I didn't really feel grateful. I did feel grateful for my ordination, obviously, but like talking about some years ago, I didn't feel grateful, and I felt more of a sense of lack, and I didn't feel grateful at all. And I wondered whether, in fact, you could develop great gratitude. But now, at this point in my life, I've realised that I often feel grateful. I feel grateful to my parents. That is my main recollection of them. They're both dead now. I feel grateful to my loved ones, my friends and family. I feel very grateful that, for the conditions of my life, and for my education, and in particular for my Buddhist practice. So definitely I would say you can create a practice of, you can create an experience of gratitude, and you can build a positive habit by repeating it. One thing I've found helpful to do often at the end of the day is to ask myself, what has been the best thing that has happened today? And often it's just a very small thing that comes to mind, which I wouldn't have thought about unless I'd made time to recollect it. Often it's just a small thing, like I remember someone's face, or I saw a robin, or someone's smile. Because we're so hardwired to be looking out for danger, and we're sort of going out towards the next thing. We're going towards trying to be happy and trying to avoid pain a lot of the time. Yeah, so these small good things are, in actual fact, where happiness lies. And we can think of them as they're like little jewels in our day, and we can string these little jewels on a necklace of jewels and have a sense of that we're creating a positive stream of gratitude and of happiness. Yeah, so let's just for a moment go back to our feet on the ground and coming into the present moment. And we can just think about positivity as being like a sense of a pool of, a glowing pool of sunshine in our hearts that we can dwell in, that we are dwelling in right now. And we can breathe it in. We can breathe in this beautiful sunshine. We might see it also as sunshine on snow, that very sort of vibrant, energizing sunshine. We can breathe in and breathe out and energize ourselves and inspire ourselves and breathe it out to the world. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to talk about today. So go well, stay positive, and we're going to come out. We're going to come out stronger. Bye now.